So here we go. We're going to talk about, you know, the renovations, and it doesn't matter if you're making your dream home or you're just doing a portion of your house or what have you. You got to figure out how much you can actually spend, and that can't be a floating number. You got to stick to the number. So talk to us about your mental state going through this, but what we have to keep in mind.
Well, I'll tell you something first, is that I've answered this question many times before, is how to stay on a budget when you're doing a renovation. And I also have to be honest that I didn't stay on budget when I did my own renovation. So, you know, I should take my own advice, but...
Where did you go wrong on that? What happened? What overtook?
You know what? Usually I tell people put 20 to 25% aside as extra contingency, above and beyond what you're expecting to pay.
Right.
And I probably went 30 to 35% over, but things that you couldn't even predict. Like, we had a well on the property that we bought, and turns out that the well was compromised and there was groundwater getting in. We had to drill a new well. We had to go down a certain, it's like $20,000 gone right there, right?
Wow.
And so typically, but it's that the lesson there is that typically when you do go over budget, it's not necessarily for things that you wanted, it's for things that you needed. Right? Like the electrical needed updating, the plumbing wasn't good, there were structural issues, there was mold behind the walls. And the issue is that you can't leave these things till later.
No.
Right? When you rip down the walls, that's the time to do the fixes.
So, Scott, would you still allocate that much money, or would you actually a percentage more?
I was doing more of a build from scratch, but definitely you want to put 20 to 25, or at least prepare to spend that money. And if you don't, that's a huge bonus. You're probably going to spend it on something fancy anyway. In the end, if you didn't spend it, you're like, well, I put it aside. I might as well spend it on some new furniture.
But that brings me to the second point, is the budget realistic? Is the budget?
Yeah.
And so you got to make sure that there's the not pretty stuff.
And it depends where the budget's coming from as well. A lot of people think, okay, you know, it's going to be a $50,000 renovation. I'll take out a $50,000 line of credit. But if it's going to take you 6 months, there's also interest on that line of credit. So you have to factor in the cost of financing as well. Now, fortunately for many young folks, that the cost of, they're borrowing from their family or their parents for the most part. But I'll tell you something right now. The cost of financing from family is way more than from the bank.
That is so true.
True.
That is so true. And one other thing I want to add before we talk about this next story is that you should follow along with the spreadsheet for a budget. Just keep on track, right?
Keep track of everything as you go along. When you're working with a contractor, especially, you will have something called a scope of work, which should outline the cost and the scope of everything that's being done. And you want to follow that with a spreadsheet. And then you have something called change of work orders, which sometimes become more than the original scope. But you need to follow these things along, because the breakdown between homeowner and contractor happens when there is nothing in writing. That's when the breakdown occurs. It's like, well, I thought you were just going to add that outlet. And the contractor says, well, it was just going to be a few $100s. It's
on paper. It's on paper.
Put it all down. Track it.
We're watching you. And it's good for you, too, for accountability, just in case you have an argument with your spouse.